Right, so whenever you're making stuff, like Maya will try and the best way to think about texturing is just wrapping paper. So if you think about how awkward it is to kind of wrap like really you couldn't like wrap a human in wrapping paper, it'd be dead awkward. You'd be cutting up loads of bits. So the easier the object, the easier it is for Maya to kind of unwrap it for you. So I'll just really quickly try and get like something that looks a bit like a cereal box. Right, there we go. Right, so if you ever want to see what your texture looks like, if you go to Window and then UV Texture Editor, this is like the way that Maya flattens out your shape for you. So if you go on, like yours is going to be like a bottle, so when you go on it's going to look a wee bit kind of weird.
Yeah.
So it's going to be dead hard. So every time you extrude, Maya tries to figure out what to do with it, and it always balls it up. Like, so what you can do is you can tell it to unwrap it for you. So there's an option here. It's a bit hard to see on mine, but it's create. It's called Create UVs is the menu. So if you go to Create UVs and then you tell it to do a thing called automatic mapping, it'll look around the object and try and figure out what's the best way to unfold it for you. So if I hit automatic, you can see now what it's done is it's taken this big chunk here and sat it there, and this big chunk sitting right beside it, and then the other bits are scattered around. So that's the two sides, and then that's the top and the bottom. So Maya's gone through and is trying to figure out just what the best way to lay it out. So the way you texture is you need to take this out of Maya and get it into Photoshop. So what you do is you end up taking a photograph of it. It's called a snapshot. So you make sure you're in object mode, and you go polygons and then UV snapshots down the very bottom of the menu. And you get asked for a bunch of settings. So the first thing is where you're going to save it. So like obviously save this on your hard drive. I'm just going to stick it on my desktop. It's called box, right? The next thing is the size. So for you guys, what you want to be doing is 1024 is the lowest you want to be working with. You always want to double that number or half it. So the next big size I'll use is going to be 2048, and the one after that is, I can't count, so it's 40, something like that. So 1024 is like pretty big. The next thing is just the file format. So we're going to say PNG is fine for us, and then just hit OK. Straight away you'll know if it works because this line down here changes. They say save file, so it's made a file for us. So what we have to do now is we just open that up in Photoshop, and we're going to end up like painting on it basically. So you can paint on it or you can just use photographs. So if you've got a picture frame in your scene, it makes more sense to grab a photograph and just stick it in the middle rather than you having to try and paint some kind of picture or doing like stick figure to go inside it. So that's why like loads of people tend to do like picture frames or posters because they're dead simple to do. You just get the image off Google and drop it on. So all we do is open this up in Photoshop, and you'll see it's just like it's just a little template of what we just saved out. So it's box. So it's a bit hard to see because it's got the outlines, but it hasn't got a background on it. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink this down just so you can see it. If we make a new layer, so just a new layer button down the bottom right, I'm just going to fill it with paint. So if I go edit, fill, and I'm going to choose like 50% grey. If I drag that underneath that layer, I shouldn't have made it that colour. I'll make it like black or something. You can kind of see my lines roughly. I'll just change it to black real quickly. So edit fill, and we'll go black. Alright, so there's the lines. So just to show you what way it works, I'll just grab if I just grab like a crappy paintbrush, and I'll just paint on like a colour. It's like incredibly hard. There we go. Right. So I'm just painting this out just so I know which sides are which. So I just resave this file. Just save it over your original. If you're going to be texturing and come back to it, save it as a PSD. But when you want to put it on your object, save it as a PNG, just because it's quicker. So I'll save as PNG, should be down here. It's going to ask me to replace it. Right. So that's it done. So what we have now is basically we've got like a box, we've got kind of some wrapping paper, and we just need to tell Maya, right, that wrapping paper goes on top of that box. So I do is hold down your right click, and you're going to go to the assign new material, and this is just asking you what kind of material you're going to use. So use the little like kind of demo spheres that they've got there. So if you look at blend, you can see it's got loads of shininess, so it's got loads of light bouncing off it. Lambert is like dead kind of flat, where the light just hits it and just stays there. Whereas Fong's got kind of shininess as well. So basically the rule, like me and Brian would always say to people, is use Lambert for like carpets and stuff that's not shiny, like normally fabrics. And then use Fong for stuff like wood and like glass and all, anything that's shiny. So like your taps and stuff will be Fong, your bottle will be kind of Fong as well and stuff like that. So I'll use Fong for this one just because it's going to be kind of like glossy. And then what we're going to do is, we don't want to use a colour. If we click on that box and change it, it just changes the colour there. We want to plug something into it instead. So anytime you see these little checkered boxes, it means we're going to plug something in. So click on that, and then we're going to choose, it's asking you, right, what do you want to plug in? We're just going to say, well, we've got a file. And then in this little box that appears, you just attach that file basically. So it's asking you where is it? So if I go on the desktop now, it'll have that file. So this is why when you're texturing, keep everything in the same place, because you don't want to have to reattach it every week. It's kind of like Final Cut. You know, if you move your footage, the next day you open up, it's like there's nothing there. So you push 6 on your keyboard, that'll preview it for you. So now you can see 1 is that side, 2 is going to be upside down. So I just do that as a little test, because sometimes Maya gets the sides wrong. 6 is that side, 5 is that side, and then 4 is there. So the way you would texture it now is keep Maya open, keep Photoshop open, and we'll go find some images that we kind of want to use. So if this is like this could be anything, could be like a DVD case or anything you want. My Mac's unbelievably slow, so just wait. Right. So I'm trying to think. What is this? Fancy.
It's actually quite cool.
So if I grab this, it's not the best quality. Normally save it on your desktop. I'm just going to copy and paste it in. So I know that 1 is that bit there. So all I do is now just move that into place and just scale it. So when you're texturing, if you're stuck in anything in Photoshop, just give me a shout and we'll run through it. So all I'll do then is just file, cause you just got to resave your file. So just make sure you use the same file name. And it's going to ask you to place. Yep, that's fine. So the link already exists in Maya. So if you're you don't need to say it, right? Oh, there's the file again. It's already it's got that relationship. So it is just double click on that, and then that's your texture, and that's where you go. Oh. Right. So just to go back over, all you do is click on the object. You're going to create UVs, and then automatic mapping. If it makes a real mess of your automatic mapping, then let me know and I'll kind of come over and try and fix it, because you can do it manually, which is kind of better because we're not computers and we can kind of say, right, that's a flat surface, whereas Maya's just kind of guessing, and then you save it out. But I'll